The whole thing about OSKIA is to do with knees and horses, which is totally random.
So how did you know it was safe to take for you?
Well, you don't really.
But let's talk about the menopause then.
My parents' generation never spoke about it. They just sort of gone on with it quietly.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Skincare and Beyond. We hope you find these podcasts really interesting to listen to, but also your new go-to for everything skincare and beyond. Today, I'm thrilled to be here having an inspiring conversation with a true inspirational founder and pioneer in the industry. So we've got Georgie Cleeve, who's the founder of OSKIA, here with us today. If you're someone who's passionate about skincare, you will have already heard of OSKIA. But actually, OSKIA is known for its luxurious, result-driven products. And you're setting new standards within the industry, aren't you, Georgie, which is brilliant. Georgie's journey began not in a traditional skincare lab, is it, Georgie?
Not at all, no.
So Georgie's experience is a really personal one to her. She discovered transformative power of bio-nutritional skincare. And that was through a knee injury, I understand. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So driven by a desire to create skincare that not only felt amazing, but actually truly nourished the skin from within, you founded OSKIA in 2009. Since then, the brand has won loads of awards. And actually, you've got lots of followers because of the innovative way in which you create products. So before we actually talk about the brand, Georgie, for the benefit of our listeners, just tell us a little bit about who is Georgie apart from the founder of OSKIA.
Ooh. Gosh, that's the question. Well, I'm a mother. I'm 48. I think I'm 48 or could be 49, but one of those pre-50 years. Mother of three. I live in South Wales where we have our laboratory. So we have our factory laboratory all down there. And then we have our head office in London. And I run OSKIA with my husband, George, who is obviously absolutely amazing and he runs the commercial side of the business and I run the formulating side of the business. So very good partnership.
Fabulous. Well, I work with my husband as well. So it's got the good, the bad and the ugly. Yeah, great that you've got your back, but sometimes, when you're at work and if something happens at work, you do take it home. How do you balance that?
Well, it's quite so. OSKIA's now been going for over 15 years. I've been doing it really for about 18 years. The first couple of years, because he was a corporate lawyer beforehand, and we had it was my baby at the beginning because the background story, which we'll go into. We had such separate roles, which is brilliant. So we didn't really sort of step on each other's toes much. We used to have the very, very early days, our first sort of, director meeting would be in the bath before work in the morning, and you sit there, have a bath together, and you talk about all the things that you're going to all the things that are going to happen that week. And that was really going back to the very, very early days. And I love that. I miss that, but that, there's now far many people involved. So you can't quite do that anymore. But no, we're quite good. We don't tend to take it home too much now, but it is, it is all consuming, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So you just said what George did before OSKIA. What about you? What about your career? What's that?
So the whole founding story about OSKIA, there's lots of things that happened, but my big sort of career before I was a food journalist, loved food, but became absolutely fixated on the health side of food. So this is going back to 25, 30 years ago when, nutrition wasn't cool, skincare really wasn't, it was nothing to do with skincare or the beauty industry, but I became fixated on the effect of nutrients on health and skin. But yeah, food editor, but also I was also a director of a supplement business as well.
Okay. Did you get to try lots of different types of food?
I did. And I used to go to all the amazing restaurants and it was probably, I can't fault the job. It was the most amazing job you can ever have. Definitely. It was brilliant. And I love food.
Oh, so anything that stood out? And maybe the worst?
The most interesting one was probably having Gordon Ramsay cook for you privately in the kitchen. Oh, that was interesting. Wow. That was eye-opening because you see a working kitchen in full throttle. That was definitely eye-opening. That was good fun.
Is he the same in real life as you see?
Totally.
Yeah. But
I always think charming.
You can't be that bad, surely.
But it just felt, very normal. That was just, it was normal.
Oh, fabulous. And what about worst? Have you had anything that you think, I'm never, ever going to touch that again?
I mean, I love all food. I hate Angel's Delight, but I think that goes back to a school thing. No, I've had nothing.
Okay.
Nothing bad.
Oh, that's good. You see, when you talk about food, you can see that there is a little bit of a correlation in terms of wanting something to smell delicious and also having some really great ingredients in. But how would you put that into skincare? How would you correlate that to skincare?
So we specialise in nutritional skincare, and what's really, really important to remember about skin and anything that happens in all the chemical processes is that everything goes back to nutrition. It's like if you imagine your skin is a jigsaw, all those bits of jigsaw pieces, it's a puzzle, are all your nutrients. You need all your amino acids for things. You need all your minerals, your vitamins. Yeah. Every single thing that happens in your skin needs nutrients. So that's what I became fixated in, and working out obviously how to get those nutrients into your skin. You can't just use a lovely oil on your face. It doesn't work like that. But for me, skincare, it is nutrition. You can't separate the two of them, and you can't make a cake with just an oven, which could be your skincare product. Yeah. You need all the ingredients to make collagen, for example. For collagen, you need amino acids, you need zinc, you need copper, you need vitamin C, MSM. It's so entwined and vital to understand how all of those nutrients work to have healthy skin and skin that works properly. So for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Yeah.
So talk to me about skiing then, and talk to me about what happened, because I heard that it was your
knees.
Yes.
I know. But so the whole thing about OSKIA is to do with knees and horses, which is totally random. I never woke up one day and said, you know what, I want to go into the beauty industry. I want to go and launch a brand. Nothing like that. I mean, that could not be further from the truth. So a couple of things happened when I was younger. I was very lucky in that our family business was one of Europe's first nutritional supplement businesses for horses. Oh, okay. So I grew up surrounded by scientists, and for animals and any animal, it's a veterinary science. It's all about finding a cure for particular ailments, and there's no placebo effects with animals. So if something works, my God, it works, and you know it. Second thing that happened, so I've grown up with all these weird scientists, which is great fun. The second thing that happened was that I used to ski a lot, and that was because my mum was in the British ski team. So we skied, a lot, far more than I should have done as a growing child. Right. And aged about between 15 and 18, I had 5 knee operations through damaged cartilage. I completely ruined the cartilage in my joints. And, my knees would swell up like footballs. I had walking sticks. I couldn't run. It was absolute agony. And after the last operation, the surgeon said, there's no way, you'll never run again. Actually, I don't mind. I really don't like running. That's fine. But you'll never ski again. You might do a little bit, but, you'll never ski. And I used to ski competitively. And it was absolutely gutting. And my dad actually turned around and said, look, okay, they can't do anything surgically wise. Why don't you try our horse pill? And I turned around and said, thanks, Dad. I'm not a horse. No human has ever tried this, blah, 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 blah. And he said, look, well, you've seen it. You've grown up with this supplement. It's called MSM. You've seen it. You've seen the effect on horses. You're not going to lose anything. So cut a long story short, I obviously did try the MSM. My mobility, my joints. So MSM basically was designed to regenerate racehorses' mobility. And my dad's veterinary business was the first to introduce it into Europe about 40 years ago.
But for horses?
For horses. It was never in the human market. So this is for horses.
So how did you know it was safe to take for you?
Well, you don't really. But mammal's a mammal, and it's something that works, but the biology, the chemical reactions in your body are the same, obviously, if you're a human or you're a horse. So I did take it. Yep. And it's watching horses have it. It's amazing. Their mobility increases, but it helps skin as well. So sweet itch, it would help cure a lot of skin conditions in horses as well.
Okay.
So I'd sort of seen the effects, but I didn't really ever think that I'd ever want to take it myself. Yeah. But I did take it. My mobility completely transformed. I've done ski seasons. I've raced again. I've done triathlons, marathons. No pain or swelling in my knees at all, which is amazing. But side effect that I didn't anticipate was that my skin totally transformed, and I had typical teenager skin. I have hereditary rosacea, which doesn't help. I had eczema. I used to get really bad breakouts. My nails are really fine. I just had a really bad skin, and it totally transformed. And I remember turning around and saying, do you know what? The knees are, thank you. This is brilliant.
Yes.
Because I was quite sporty, very sporty. But my skin, suddenly having good skin that you don't have to worry about. It's like, and I was painfully shy. It's like having a whole weight lifted off your shoulders. And I thought, God, this is amazing. And that was MSM, which is sulfur. But I was a teenager.
Yes.
Fast forward 25 years, MSM was still not used in skincare, which I thought was crazy. And that's when I decided, well, look, that's what I'm going to do. If I can help other people with their skin to be healthy, nothing to do with vanity or anything like that, with just having skin that you didn't have to worry about, that it was healthy, it did its job properly. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to introduce MSM to the market. But actually, I spent many, many years looking at all the different nutrients that your skin has to have to function properly. So not just the MSM. And that's when the whole nutritional skincare basically came about.
Okay. So talk to us then about the science behind OSKIA. So you've talked about MSM, and I know we've said this before, but that stands for something. So talk us through that and talk us through the science behind the product.
Yeah. So number of things with OSKIA. Gosh, there's so many things to say about OSKIA. It's so exciting. MSM is one of the most bioavailable forms of sulfur. Sulfur is obviously a key mineral. You need sulfur in over 140 different bodily processes within your body, obviously. Key ones for our industry are amino acid production, collagen production, keratin production, glutathione production, which is our cellular antioxidant, and it's a fantastic anti-inflammatory as well. So all of those combined it's brilliant for boosting collagen production. But more importantly for me, which I love, is actually helping ailments with the skin. So eczema, psoriasis, etc. Acne, it's fantastic for acne as well. So all of those, it's fantastic. So that's the MSM. But you can't make a cake with just flour. So we have all the different nutrients. But what we do in our lab is we find ways to make those nutrients available to your skin to use. So, there's a bit of a myth that, you can use, avocado oil, which is full of nutrients, and you can put it on your skin. But your skin's designed to keep things out. It's not designed to absorb things. So we basically, in our laboratory, invent ingredients, invent ways that are going to get those nutrients actually into your skin, and also get them to where they're needed. So that's the science bit. We invent quite a lot of our own ingredients as well, our own complexes, which I love. Yeah. And this is going back to the problem solving. So, I find something that I want a product or an ingredient to do, and then you go all the way back to the biology and work out what chemicals are involved in that chemical, in that process, whether it's collagen production or whatever it is. So it's it is very much problem solving, but that's the side that I love. I find it, I'm just passionate about that side of the business, the problem solving.
And is that why you decided then to open your own skincare business? Because you talked about your own concerns with your skin when you were younger and you saw the benefits, but actually it was a number of years before you then set up OSKIA.
Yeah, definitely. It was, I think, because back 20 years ago, no one was using, retinol had been around since the 1970s because it was used as a cancer treatment, but nutrients had never really been looked at before, particularly in the natural. So we are a natural brand, but, natural ingredients were very basic. They're looking at whole food ingredients or whole oils. And actually, that's not the best way, right, in my view, to target individual concerns. It is every single ingredient or chemical reaction within the skin is so different. And I'm fascinated by that.
Yeah. Actually, OSKIA is really good at making sure that you're dealing with the skin concerns and the skin conditions. So you decide that you're going to set up your own skincare business. Obviously, it doesn't happen overnight. So talk me through then the process that you would have gone through from making that initial distinction in your head or that thought formulating in your head to launching OSKIA.
Gosh, well, I think because I came across it in such a different way, and also I wasn't in the beauty industry. I am a therapist now, but back then I wasn't in the beauty industry, and I think it's almost a good thing because I came at it from a completely different angle. You know, I wasn't a scientist, but I had an amazing team of scientists. We had a big team that we spent 4 years analysing all the nutrients and all that sort of stuff.
How did you get those scientists then?
I was in a very lucky position that I was, having grown up in that industry, I knew I had the contacts, I knew who to speak to. But I think nowadays people go into the beauty industry because of the business side of it. You know, it is lucrative.
Yeah.
I did not come from none of that interests me at all. It's more the discovery. It's like, well, this is something new. You know, this has not been done before. That way you get such a passion for it. It's not like, oh, I'm going to make a niacinamide serum, you know, which is very easy nowadays to produce products like that. So I think coming from it from a very, very different angle, but also, so it was 4 years before we launched after I decided to do it, but that was spending, I'm looking to the nutrients and what nutrients. You had all that research actually studying which nutrients and why those chemicals are needed in the chemical reactions within your skin, and then working out, right, well, I need those to target that concern. And then you start looking at the formula. And then once you've decided, you know, you've got your nutrients, your actives that you want for that formula, it's making sure that that formula is actually going to get the best results. So it's, you know, changing percentages of ingredients, changing ingredients in and out to make them work synergistically together. Because actually what happens is, you know, one ingredient works entirely differently depending on what other ingredients it's put into it. So actually, if you look at a formula from that point of view, it should take lot longer than 9 months or whatever by just popping an ingredient in it and then just putting it on shelf. And then you go through all the clinical trials. And often what we do is, well, it's what we do, but not often, it's how we do it, which is why it takes so long. You get your formula, you go and do the clinical trials. And then you think, well, actually, I think it could perform better if we tweak that, or if we encapsulate that ingredient so it doesn't come into contact with that, you know. So you change things around, and then you go back and do the clinical trials again. So it should, in my view, it should be a really thorough, thought out process with lots of clinical trials to get the best product you possibly can to put on the market.
Fab. So how many products did you actually launch with?
So we launched with, I think, 7.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And actually some of them, so our Bedtime Beauty Boost was one of our first ones. Renaissance Cleansing Gel wasn't. It was the Renaissance Mask that was our first one. And I made the Renaissance Cleansing Gel because of the success of the Renaissance Mask, because I wanted a daily, you know, glow boosting, lovely cleanser. But that launched 12 years ago, I think now. So quite a long time ago. Yeah, 9. We've now got sort of 45 or something.
And you're brilliant at the new product development. We'll talk about that in a minute. OSKIA then. Who came up with the name? So, does it stand for anything?
Yeah, definitely not me. So George he's brilliant with language, brilliant with words. So it was actually called Pure 15 years ago, 20 years ago, which didn't reflect anything in the end. But we must have gone through about 100 different names. It was the longest, most agonizing. It's really hard choosing a name for your brand because you want it to be recognizable, something that you could trademark globally. So it's an entirely made up word. And it means to deliver beauty nutritionally. So all about nutrition, it from ancient Greek. Bit of a, slight bit of a fudge, but it's also where esophagus comes from. The esophagus to deliver nutrition, and Kai was beauty. So, but George entirely came up with that. So you can take all the credit.
Oh, fabulous! I didn't know that. Even though I tried to search, it's really good.
Yeah, it does mean something.
Yeah. Fabulous. In terms of OSKIA's your favourite products then, and you said you would ask. So if you were going to be stranded on a desert island, Georgie, and you could only take 3 of your products, you could have an endless supply, but you're only allowed to take 3. What 3 do you think you would take?
Okay, excluding SPF, because that's a given, really, isn't it? Oh, gosh. Well, I think on a desert island, I quite like to feel glamorous once in a while, even if there's nowhere to talk to apart from a few coconuts. I'd like to take the Renaissance mask, actually, because I love that, and it always feels a treat when you use it. But use it twice a week as part of your normal skincare routine. I like that because for me it's sort of glamorous. We use it on all the movies. It's a great pick me up. God, this is so difficult. Oh, the isotonic hydro serum, definitely. Okay, yes. Yeah, my skin get really dry on a desert island. And I love that.
Yeah.
And I love making that product because hyaluronic acid is great. It's not a long-term hydrator. That product's designed to boost your hyaluronic acid production in your body itself. So it's not just applying hyaluronic acid. It helps stimulate your skin to make it so I love that. So I would definitely put that in. So that's Menopause Mask, that. At the moment, it would be my Midnight Elixir because I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's very calming.
Last year, you brought out the range that was really good for blemish-prone skin, which was the Violet Water range. And I'm excited about the newest development, which I've got here. So this is the Midnight Elixir. And this is perfect with our theme for the month being anti-aging and also talking about menopause. So are you able just to tell us a little bit more about the Midnight Elixir?
Yeah, definitely. Should we get it out? Should we show you?
Yeah, sure.
It's this is actually a 15ml version, but it'll be a 50ml version. Yes. So I've decided that 50ml is better than a 30ml. I mean, big is always better, isn't it, really?
Yeah. How long should the 50ml last somebody?
I reckon it would probably about 6 weeks, 2 months.
Yeah.
Probably more, actually, maybe even 3 months.
Okay.
It sounds really silly, but I have a tiny face. So products tend to last a lot longer with me. It's a regenerating serum. So it's all about boosting the systems in your skin to regenerate collagen, elastin, etc. The clinical trials are absolutely amazing. And in 8 weeks, we've got a 37% increase in elasticity, which I think is absolutely amazing. So 4 weeks results are 27, 36, then we've got 12 weeks. It's all incremental. So, which is what it should be. We've got 30 synergistic ingredients in here. So I'm a massive advocate, and I believe that every formula should have quite a few actives. You know, as I said, you can't make a cake with just flour. Every ingredient works differently with other ingredients. For collagen production, you've got so many processes within your skin. One ingredient will not do it all. You know, vitamin C is great for collagen production, but you've got 15 other ingredients you have to make collagen, let alone the stimuli to actually boost that process in the first place. So we've got 5 different EGFs, which are growth hormones in here. They're biomimetic, which means they are identical to the ones in our body, but are actually made in a laboratory.
Right.
So, and they're also made from natural ingredients as well, but 5 new EGFs. We've got an amazing complex with shiitake and turkey tail mushroom, really brilliant for brightening the skin. We've got masses of peptides. We've got our MSM complex in here, which is the complex with all the nutrients your skin has to have to work properly. Provitamin D3, my favourite vitamin, loads of vitamins. It's just absolutely fantastic. And it's all designed for firmness and loss of elasticity. Also great at healing. So anyone who's sort of, even the younger skin who's trying to heal acne scarring, for example, is brilliant at that. I mean, there's so many things that happen to our skin when you go through the menopause. One of them, obviously, loss of elasticity and collagen, but that's because of your fibroblasts basically don't get produced as much. Yeah. Hydration disappears. We start breaking down our own collagen, MMPs. So all these things that happen. Retinol is fantastic, but it doesn't do all of that. So this is where the EGFs and peptides come in. So again, you need all of these wonderful ingredients which affect different pathways within the skin to do it. So this is, and it's also a sleep serum.
Yeah.
So you use it at night because that's when your skin regenerates. You don't want to use it during the day. You know, the clinical trials were once a day at night. A lot of trials are done 2 applications, but this is just once a day at nighttime. And that's when your skin regenerates. So it works with your circadian rhythm at the time when your skin is meant to regenerate and repair. And it's absolutely lovely. It's bright yellow, which is the folic acid and shiitake mushrooms.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, we are very excited by that.
Sure.
Yeah, please do.
And if we can see that. Yeah. Oh, it's really nice. It's absorbing quickly.
It's one of those. So I have rosacea. When I use this at night, my skin is so much calmer in the morning. It's amazing. It's really gentle. It is actually perfumed. It is, yeah, but it is perfumed. Smell is one of our key senses, and I think you've got to enjoy using a product. And the perfume is a natural perfume, but it's allergen-free, totally hypoallergenic.
Oh,
so
goodness.
It's perfect.
Safe for people to use.
Yeah, safe for people to use. But it smells lovely.
Anti-aging then. So that's something that we are focusing on this month at Face the Future. I know you've got an amazing active aging, anti-aging, who knows what we call it now. Do you want to just talk us through what you think are the best active aging products that you do?
I've used OSKIA for 15 years. I'm a big advocate of, I want to use what I'm selling, basically. So I don't know if your viewers think it's a good thing or a bad thing looking at me. But there are certain things that happen, obviously, as we get older. We all know, we've all heard that we start losing collagen. Yeah. It's actually during the menopause, and those first 4 years of the menopause, that's the key bit. We can lose up to 30% of our collagen in those 4 years, and then it's meant to be about 2% after that. Yeah. But it's not just collagen. We start producing less fibroblasts, which obviously is collagen and elastin, and also estrogen, which is obviously when that stops, estrogen looks after our fibroblast manufacture. It looks after our hyaluronic acid manufacture. It regulates our melanin production. So this is when age spots obviously start happening. There are so many other things as well that go on. So it's not just, I want an ingredient that boosts collagen production. You've got to look at all the different types and also all the stimuli. So what I feel very strongly about anti-aging products, and I know we're not meant to say the word anti-aging, but we all want to look younger, whether that's more rested. I think when we were younger, we bounced back much better. The quality of sleep we got, I think, were better. We are more stressed now as we get older. We have so much more on our plate. I'm not saying that the younger generations are not stressed and also have, they all got a huge amount on their plates. But because of all the biological process that are slowing down in our skin, you need the stimuli to boost those processes again. So you need the stimuli to boost the fibroblast production, but you need the ingredients to make the collagen and the elastin and the hyaluronic acid in particular. Amino acids is fantastic, zinc's fantastic, copper's fantastic. Those are all the ingredients you have to actually make those ingredients, biological ingredients. So peptide's fantastic, retinol's fantastic, EGF absolutely amazing. EGF's fantastic, particularly if you've got sensitive skin as well and you don't want to go down the retinol route. But in my view, you need all of those because they all do different things. So a good products or a skincare regime that uses all those is what I would definitely go for. And hydration is absolutely key as well, because as we get older, we lose so much more hydration from our skin. And that's our lovely sort of youthful glow and plumpness.
So let's talk about the menopause then. So we've talked about the anti-aging. Menopause is more than just the anti-aging, the active aging. If you were able to give some advice and guidance to our listeners, for those that are either going through any stage of the menopause or actually are worried about the menopause, what advice would you give in relation to their skincare and their well-being?
I think we all go through it. I remember when my doctor said, when I was pregnant with my first child, he said, you're not ill, you're just pregnant, is what you're designed to do. Yeah. And I do feel with the menopause, I'm so pleased that there's more information out there. We're now talking about it. Our parents' generation never spoke about it. They just sort of, gone on with it quietly. But it is a medical stage that we do go through. It is going to happen. And I think the more you read about it, talk about it, the more you learn about it, the more empowered you'll feel about how you can control the way that you go through it. And there are now lots of different options, whether you go on HRT or not. Obviously, there are pros and benefits for everything, all of them. But I think the more one talks about it and reads about it, I think that's really helpful. And there's a lot of information out there now, which is great. In terms of skincare, I think the first, when you actually start hitting menopause properly, that is your key time, because it's hopefully quite short unless you go through HRT. But that's where you're going to see the most changes in your skin. Your skin will be more sensitive. Your skin does become much drier. We do lose our collagen elastin, but there are things that you can do to counteract that, whether it is something like the Midnight Elixir, retinols. Diet is really important. So you want to boost your zinc and your copper intake, your vitamin C intake. Taking GAGs, hydrating ingredients, really important, because we do lose so much hyaluronic acid in our skin. But we now know what happens to our skin, and we now know what ingredients you need to make collagen or hyaluronic acid. So you can learn and take those supplements, which are really helpful at this time, and topical ingredients. So there's now, you were so lucky that there are a lot of products that we can use, actually, which, you know, previous generations didn't really. Yeah.
I'm really interested to know, you said a couple of times that you obviously use your own products and you've used your own products for like over 15 years. Is there any other brands that you use, Georgie?
Okay, so there's some brands I really rate. I love Medicate. I think they are brilliant. Again, totally science results driven. Yeah. Can't fault them. That's a particular one. I love facial oils. I think everyone should have a facial oil. Votary are brilliant at their oils. I think they're fantastic. Oils are so important for skin, actually, particularly as you get older, because we start producing their sebum, unless you're really lucky to have really lovely oily skin. So teenagers with oily skin, you're so lucky. You're so lucky now. They're my top two at the moment.
Fabulous. Yeah. Brilliant. I always like to find what other people use, not just their own brands, because I think people do mix and match, don't they?
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with mix and match. I'm a massive advocate for that. And I think if you find a product you love, keep to it. You know, there's nothing worse than changing products the whole time, because it doesn't do your skin any good. And you won't see any results, really, if you keep doing that. So, yeah, find brands or products that you like and stick to them.
Yeah. I know that you've achieved an awful lot. And I said at the beginning that you'd won quite a lot of awards. From your perspective, though, what things are you most proud of?
My sounds really a bit cheesy, actually, but the thing I'm most proud of is actually building a company, but building a company that's based on people. Obviously, we've got the products itself, but we've got an amazing team in Wales, where our factory is, and we have an amazing team in London, where our head office is. And actually, we all get together a couple of times a year, and at those moments, particularly, you know, when George and I sit and look at everyone, so that's actually what we're really proud of. You know, we've built an amazing community of people, and I love that. It's a real family, and I really love that. I suppose the other, on the more business side, as you mentioned, we have won lots of awards. We've won 230 awards to date, which it's one of those you sort of you're so excited, and we need to celebrate them all. I know, so that's huge. So I'm really thrilled with that. Other things, we've done quite a few industry firsts. So we launched the first ever gel to oil on the market, which is our Renaissance Cleansing Gel, which was 13 years ago, or 12, 13 years ago. We also produced the first clinically proven anti-pollution product on the market, which was our City Life Booster, which was 7, 8 years ago, I think. And the clinical trials of that were amazing. I mean, that took really about 4 years of analysis to get it right. And that clinically proven to protect against 98.7% of particulate matter and 97% of free radicals. So that's 4 different types of free radicals, because there are lots of different types. Formulation-wise, that's my most proud. That was an industry first. That was brilliant. But yeah, awards, those products, and our team.
Oh, really. Goodness. And I bet those products are still firm favourites as well, aren't they?
Definitely.
Again, the Renaissance Cleanser. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So I've got one final question, Georgie, and then I don't know if there's anything else that you want to tell our listeners. But my final question is, our customers are really important to us, as you know. So if you could ask our customers or listeners any one question, it can be about skincare, it doesn't have to be, it can be anything. What would you ask?
So I know, obviously, routines and what products you should use. What do you think is the most important stage of your routine? Because I think I know what they'll say, but I might not.
Okay. Well, we will ask our listeners and we'll ask our customers, and we'll be able to give some feedback at the end of the podcast when we've got all that information from them. What do you think it is, interestingly?
I think they'll say serum.
Oh, you see,
because they're really clever.
Yeah.
And I think
serum, and then for me it would be the double cleanse. I'd have to double cleanse and then do the serum. And of course, we've talked about SPF and how important SPF is.
I think SPF is just a given.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although, again, all the campaigning still where people don't wear their SPF, and you know, people are more worried about getting burnt than getting skin cancer. It's still a big educational piece to go.
I think it's one of the things, and also actually another thing which I think people are not so clued up on yet is pollution. Yeah. And I think pollution, people will begin to realise is what SPF and UV damage 30 years ago. I mean, I was the generation that we didn't use sunscreen as teenagers. You know, we would even put baby oil on to try and attract the sun. I mean, and now you look back in horror, but that's what we did because no one knew or understood. And that, you know, the damage that pollution does to your skin is extraordinary.
Yes.
You know, obviously I spent 6 years analysing this, so I'm very passionate about it. But I think that's something that it'll be should feel as normal as putting an SPF on in the future. But yeah, wear your SPF.
Yeah, fingers crossed. As you say, the more time you spend studying skin and looking at the environmental impact, the more I wish somebody told me that when I was younger.
Yeah, definitely.
You talk about the age spots and the burn. The amount. I used to even put lemon juice on my hair. It's not
I did that too.
I used to have the lemon juice in to try and get blonde hair. And I grew up in South Africa, so it was really warm. And you'd be out there. I'm just going to crisp myself. Like, why am I doing this?
Everyone can learn from our mistakes.
Yeah. As long as we talk about them. Yeah. Sometimes we don't. So just to, I suppose, round up then, we talked about new product development and the elixir. Is there anything really exciting in the pipeline that you're able to give us a little bit of a hint about or tell us anything?
So product development, I don't believe in just churning out new products the whole time. Yes. You know, there needs to be an absolute reason to bring something out. We do have a few new products in the pipeline.
Okay.
Not this is our big baby for this year. A couple coming out next year, but slightly different generations. Actually, I can't give too much of that. I'll tell you in a minute. But slightly different generations. Something that is very good for a particular generation. But I'm very excited about that.
I'm always excited about your new product developments because I always think they're amazing. So, but thank you for being with us. Thank you for being our very first.
I know. I'm so honoured.
I know. When we were saying who do we want on, I'm like, we need to bring Georgie on. So yeah, that's brilliant.
I've loved it.
And thank you to our listeners. As I said at the beginning, we want to hear from you. So if there's anything that you'd like us to do differently, if you've got any feedback, please do let us know. And again, don't forget to like and share. Thank you.
I read that you want to leave a legacy for building disruptive brands. Obviously, you're trying to do that with Subtract.
Yeah.
Why is that a desire for you?
Page 24, are you sitting comfortably?
I am. Exclusive.
Yeah, exclusive. It fell off my chair. I was like, oh my God. Still early days for male skincare specifically.
What a way to start.
Yeah.
Straight in at the deep end.
And